Hello, I'm Lily, aka True Crime Kangaroo. I thought I would go live because it is very, very difficult to sleep. And I'm flipping in between everybody else's live streams from Dylan and Sean, Brian at LTL. I don't know for Aiden's Twitter updates, but it's just driving me crazy not being able to physically be there and not having anybody to actually talk to. And the chats are just going wild. Streams is almost impossible, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to jump on and go live and see. I know everybody's streaming. If they're not streaming, they're there. So hopefully a few of you come over and say g'day and wait with me. I mean, what is it? So it's 1:30 a.m. here, Friday night, so early Saturday morning. So it's 11:30 there, 2:30, 11:30 a.m. Friday. Fingers crossed for a verdict today. It was interesting to see both Aiden and Jess Machado share that the jurors came seemingly at least dressed in business attire or more dressy attire today. So who knows what to take from that. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they just felt like doing a fancy Friday instead of a casual Friday. Who knows? I don't know. My kind of take on that is maybe yesterday they kind of came to a decision that they would perhaps, maybe they're almost there. And they kind of agreed, okay, let's get this done tomorrow. Let's go home and sleep on it and kind of rejig in the morning. Maybe not. I don't know. It's like nobody knows, right? So bloody hard. Anyway, I guess in saying that, I better keep my eye on the bloody court. Otherwise, I'll just sit here chatting like a knob, and imagine that if I just missed it. Yeah, I'd kind of be mad. Say g'day if you're in the chat. Be awesome to know who's here. As I said, I know there's everyone else is kind of streaming as well. Melanie Little, I've been over there for a little while. She's got Judy, Ron and Ed, who are just incredible. I love those guys, and I will go back and listen to it in its entirety because no, the fan's still going. Yeah, because Ed and Judy Ron are legends. So, yep, we've got the fan still going. I haven't missed anything while I've been setting up my stream. Anyway, I really want to do a poll, but I actually don't know how. Really want to do a poll, and I don't know how. I tried to do one last time I was live. Don't know. If anyone knows how to do that that's watching in StreamYard, feel free to share that with me. And if I look extremely tired and like I just rolled out of bed, I kind of did. Been laying in bed listening with complete and utter intentions of kind of snoozing through listening to either Dylan and Sean or Melanie, and but I'm too scared. I'm too scared that I'll sleep through it. Plus the adrenaline I'm just can't. This is Arnold, by the way, and he's very fidgety at the moment on my lap. He's not a kangaroo. He doesn't look very impressed. What's the matter? You say hello. You're tired. green screen thing's not working very well. Say hello. My name's Arnold. Oh, and I'm tired. Okay, so I'm going to share the fan just so that I can keep an eye on it at the same time. No. Okay. Actually, what I might do first. So I've had a lot of people that have been asking me, okay, about this video. And now that I think about it, I probably really should have. I really should have had commentary on the video, the waterfall video. But that's okay. I don't. But kind of I didn't want to do that. So that's Arnold in the microphone, sorry. He's a chihuahua, so you can hear him. He shakes and yeah, he just okay, so yeah, so I wanted to talk about this while we wait. Let's make sure that the fan's still going. Yep, cool. About this video. So this one, I'm going to talk through it because in hindsight, I probably should have done some narration, right? Hey, Tim, how are you? Good to see you. I've been trying to trying to relax and close my eyes and try and get some shut eye, but I'm too anxious that I'm going to miss something, even though I've got Dylan and Sean and or Melanie Little in the background. I'm just so scared that I'm going to miss it. So I thought, I can't miss it live. I just can't. It's it's too important. So I hope you're well. So I'm just going to go through this video that has been kind of circulating, which I'm fully grateful for, but I reckon I should have done some narration around it. So I'm just going to kind of give it's so hard in chat or in comments or description to actually give my full. Now I want to swap this so that I'm small and the video is bigger. How do I do that? Okay, cool. Good. All right. You don't need to see me. Okay, good. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to kind of talk. Right. So that's obvious. Now, I noticed this like many others did, kind of weeks ago. But funnily enough, what's at the end of the video is really what I noticed weeks ago too, and hadn't really seen anybody else pick up on it. But I kind of sat on it because I didn't really know how to piece it together. So this part, focusing on John. Oh, that's annoying. How do I close that? It's my own stuff, but it's annoying. Okay. Right. So it's John kind of doing, someone described it, I didn't know how to describe it, but someone described it yesterday as like the boxer's dance. And that's exactly what I was thinking when I first saw it. So I kind of sat on that for weeks. And then obviously with this one, I just watched it over and over again, and I did clear it up as much as I could so I could zoom in on it. So this is like, I processed the video and tried to get some clearer footage. It's obviously, it's really hard. But what I found interesting, and I guess what stuck out to me more than just, Higgins looks like he's kind of hollering out to John, but really it was Chris Albert that stunned me here. And this is more my point. What? And I've done a different video on that. But it looks like Higgins is kind of ready to go. So just bear with me. Keep your eye. Don't worry about John. Don't even worry about Brian Albert. Just keep your eye on Chris and Higgins. Ready? Now, ready? To me, it looks like Chris. It's almost like Chris is instigating something here. Watch it on slow-mo. Almost like, it'll come on slow-mo in a minute. Almost like Chris wanted Higgins. Wait, Higgins, don't go. Thought you were going to confront John about it with Karen. Is it just me? Wait, Higgins, don't go. I thought you were going to confront the shit with John, with Karen. I'm just going to play it again. It is, Tim. It's a true addiction. So anyway, I should have probably done some narration on that initially, but I didn't. And I guess even when I put it on X, I wanted to, hello, Just Erin Things, how are you? It's so nice to see other Aussies awake with me, waiting for this verdict. Just be the worst. I'd just feel so sick if I woke up in the morning, if I fell asleep and woke up and missed the verdict. I would just be devastated. So when I put it on X, I kind of thought, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing here? And I kind of put it out there to see what other viewers thought, and it kind of went nuts. And everybody saw, the Higgins thing. And a few people did pick up on Chris Albert kind of grabbing Higgins. Yeah, 100%, Erin. It's like far out. And I was laying, as I was saying to Tim, I was laying in bed and I had Melanie Little on because it's actually really good at the moment. I will have to rewatch it. Judy, Ron and Ed were on with her, or they still are probably. And I thought, I just can't sit here and do nothing, lay here and do nothing as much as, I can listen to these guys for ages. I need to talk. I need to do something. And I'm too scared to fall asleep. So I thought, stuff it. It's Friday night. I'll get up and do a live. But the other thing that I haven't actually pointed out in this video, and it's so hard to do it in writing, to express it in writing. So I'm going to go through again. Now, look, I haven't circled this, but look, I don't know if you can see my cursor. If not, if you can't see my cursor, up the top, next to where the timestamp is in the PM, next to John, there's a person in black. That person is Jennifer McCabe. Now, if you kind of watch in sync between Chris running to grab Higgins' attention and Jen, at the same time, Jen goes up to John as if she's, and again, this is all speculation, of course, as if she's kind of saying to John, hey, are you guys coming back? Now, remember, Karen and Mrs. Kolakithis are sitting here. A lot of people have thought that this is Karen, Jen, it's not. So over here on the right, far right, right to John, Karen Reid and Mrs. Kolakithis, Mr. Kolakithis and Matt McCabe are in this area. So it's interesting, and then we'll go to my next video and I'll kind of finish my thoughts off with it. So if I go back here, might be better in the other video, but let's just see. Because Jen at the moment is kind of behind the timestamp, which is the most annoying timestamp in the history of timestamps. Like, seriously. Yes, I know. And I'm so like, I feel very humbled and like excited about it too, because I'm like, oh yay, I guess more so, and it went nuts on Twitter too, but more so because I'm like, yes, you know how you think, you're not sure if it's you overthinking it, and so, which is why I didn't really put out too much of my thoughts initially. I just kind of put it out there with where to look and what, without, yeah, an extensive overview of my opinion, because everyone's got an opinion, right? And it's just an opinion and speculation. But thank you, I appreciate that, Erin. I have spent a lot of hours, yeah, on this case. Obsessed much? Yep. Okay, so anyway, focusing on Jen McCabe, she's behind the 57, behind the 1157. She's walking towards John. She comes out, there she is. She's talking to, oh, there she goes. But she'll turn around. She speaks to John. Now, at that same time, and I know you can only look at one place at one time, but at that same time is when Chris grabs Higgins' arm. So it's kind of like, and they were talking beforehand. Now they're talking again. Watch it again. Don't worry about Higgins. Chris grabs his arm. Jen walks over to John. She'll get there in a second. Oh, all right. So anyway, in my opinion, Jen and Chris Albert are actually suspects in this video. Most people are like, Higgins and Albert. It's like, no. Oh, yes, certainly Higgins. But I feel like Chris Albert and Jen McCabe, are they instigating something? Something's going on there with Jen? And a couple of people picked up on that on the Twitter post too. And I was like, yes, you see what I see. But I kind of didn't want to, I enjoy seeing what other people think before I plant something in their mind, because what I think, because everyone sees things differently. Yeah, so I'll show you now this one. No, not that. Actually, I don't think I've put it on YouTube, have I? It might only be on Twitter. The Chris Albert one. I don't think I have, actually. I'll have to put it on YouTube too. Because that's not it. No, okay, it's only on X. All right, give me a second, I'll try and bring that up. Interesting that I haven't put it on YouTube. Anyway. Okay, so X. There's some awesome stuff. I love the stuff that people put on Twitter. So clever and hilarious. Like this. Goat Boy's awesome. Oh, and this guy, this artist, holy crap, he's so good. Go and have a look if you haven't seen it. I've reposted a lot of his. It's incredible. He's so good. So, where's the Chris one? Here we go.
Well, I think at some point he said, "Who's there?"
I only wanted John to go to the house, not Karen. The reason why Matt and Jen kept looking out the window wasn't to see why John... Oh, shit. I've never thought of that, Tim. I've never, ever thought of that. That's actually... Wow. Oh, I just got chills. See, this is why I love bouncing things off other people, because it's things that you don't even think about. Let me just check that bloody fan, actually. Are we still spinning? Yep, okay. All right. Okay, so I don't know. Can you guys let me know? Can you hear this? Can you just
There.
Can you hear this?
And I said, my brother Brian. I said, Brian. He said, your brother Brian? I said, yeah, Brian and Brian Higgins are there. And he said, where's your brother Kevin? And
Can you guys hear the audio from the video that I just played? I think you can. I think you can. I'll come back in a sec. Yep, thanks, Aaron, Tim, and we'll discuss. So as I was saying about Chris Albert and Jen, right? So I also think, kind of circling back to where I think Chris Albert may have been instigating Higgins. Listen to this.
yes. Yeah, so I think at some point he said, who's there? And I said, my brother Brian. I said, Brian. He said, your brother Brian? I said, yeah, Brian and Brian Higgins are there. And he said, where's your brother Kevin? And I said, I have no clue.
So here he's talking about John O'Keefe texting him earlier in the night, or their text exchanges. Chris is like, yeah, so that's what this is referring to.
LOL or something.
Right, I'll just pause it. So here, again, this is seconds before the video prior where Higgins grabs or yanks at, Chris Albert yanks at Higgins' arm. And again, I don't know if you can see my cursor. If not, I'll explain it. So you obviously, here Higgins, Albert, and here is Chris Albert. Now, Chris Albert picks up a puffer jacket from the bar stool and he gives it to Jen McCabe here. And that's kind of, in my opinion, how you what follows. They chat. Just watch closely. Don't worry about Higgins or Albert. Look at Chris and Jen, which are, unfortunately, behind the friggin' timestamp. So don't worry about these two goons. Here's Chris Albert, picks up the puffer jacket. That's Caitlin Albert in the white. And he passes it, here, look. Passes it over to Jen. Jen chucks it on. Everyone says their goodbyes. Now watch, Higgins is ready to go. Watch that. This is, again, shows it better than the last video. Higgins is ready to walk out. Watch it again. He's about to walk out. Chris Albert's up to something. Higgins is like, all right, cool, my hood's up. I'm going, see yous, no worries. Now Chris Albert then pulls his arm. Right now. Wait a second, mate. Aren't you going to talk to John about the shit with Karen? Okay. Now, again, going on the susness of Chris Albert, 10 minutes later, after the Higgins and Albert and co have left the bar, well, it's actually like 12, nearly 13 minutes later, this is where you've only got Chris Albert, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, Karen, the Colakeithuses, John left. This is Jen. Hopefully you can see my cursor. If not, under the 15 is Jennifer McCabe. Here with the beanie on is Chris Albert. Behind Chris Albert is John, of course. Over here is Matt, Mr. Colakeithus, and I think Karen. Oh, hang on, let's play it. Maybe the girls have already walked out, or they're doing that now. They're standing over to the left, sorry, yes. But Jen is standing here, worried about what John's doing. Chris hangs about, sculls a beer. He's so gross. John stands there, finishes his beer. Watching the girls. He finishes this beer. This is important. Hear that there's much communication between Chris and John here, but it's really hard to tell. John moves over to the table, the bar table, the high top, grabs a drink, the famous cocktail glass, the rocks glass. Chris Albert puts his hands up, walks away, doesn't say anything to John. John then grabs a drink, looks left and right as if to, that's nerves to me. Nerves and like, what's going on? I don't know what to do. I'm awkward. The girls, like Karen's just walked out with the girls. Okay, I might as well follow them. So I don't know. I could be completely overthinking that. That's on my, oh, do they, Tim? They've got a question. Okay, let's have a look. Am I behind or am I live? No, I'm live. How do I know? How do you know? Am I up to? Am I up to? Yeah, I'm live. I'm live. I hope I'm not missing anything. Or did you see this on X? I don't think John did a boxer's dance. I think he quickly downed his beer because everyone else was leaving and had to go. Well, he did a boxer's dance, remember, 12 or 13 minutes before he downed his beer and walked out. He did the boxer's dance in the other video, which was where Chris Albert had yanked yanked at his arm. That's when the boxer's dance was. Where he sculled the beer and put it down and then grabbed the cocktail glass off the high top is 12 or 13 minutes later. Yeah. And I just find the interaction there, and it's body language only in that kind of low level quality video. I get it. But I have a feeling that the vibe between Chris Albert and John is off. Chris Albert to me seems drunk. John's definitely seems drunk, and his BAC confirmed that. Not surprising. I think, you know, they were all kind of having a lovely time. But anyway, yeah, if you watch it over and over again, and I tell you I've watched it over and over again, I'm like, something's going on here. But I also think he was pissed, like drunk. And people are weird when they're drunk. You know, they're like, what, they're brother and sister-in-law? Who freaking knows? But yeah, really kind of goes from that, like handing the puffer over. Jen makes her way to John at the bar, and Chris grabs Higgins' arm. So it's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to put the Chris Albert video on my YouTube so you can have a look, because they're quite interesting. They relate to one another, in my opinion. Hey Tim, how did you find out that the jury has a question? Did somebody post it? This still blows my mind, Tim, because I just hadn't have thought of. I didn't think of this. You know, that Matt and Jen were keeping an eye out in case Karen started to thought, you know, stuff it, I'm going to go into the house. In which case Jen would have went out and told Karen Reid that John was staying there and they'd give him a ride home. Oh, it gives me absolute like chills physically. gross. Yeah, cool. So they're waiting. Good. And I just panic. I'm like, it's live. It's live. I just don't want to miss it. I'd hate to miss it. Cool. How funny are Dylan and Sean? Oh my God, last night was so funny. Yesterday, last night was so funny. They are so funny. It was, yeah, it's my favorite. I love them. Yeah, she did. She's such a liar. If you remember, Jen tried to get, yeah, exactly, which is what Erin was just saying, you're coming with me. She did. And in her testimony, she really played that down, didn't she? From memory, she said, yeah, you want to come with me, or, as if it was a real kind of. I went back and forth between, yeah, I don't know. I kind of went back and forth. I definitely feel like Karen is someone that would. I feel like Jen McCabe and co are people that would have loved on Karen, but in a very false way. And then I also think that Karen could see through their, to use Turtle Boy's words, ratchetness, and been like, yeah, I'm here because whatever, but you're not my kind of people, which doesn't go well either with those kind of people, because they, now all of a sudden Karen's a snob, Karen's uppity, Karen's a bitch, Karen's this, and they would have hated it. Plus Karen's so, she's beautiful, she's successful, she's intelligent, she's confident, right? And she's got John. And John, from all that we can see, or I can see, my interpretation of him is that he was a great bloke. I mean, he's good looking. He seems to have had his shit together. He's selfless. He's obviously taken on his niece and nephew. All of those things seem like a pretty decent catch to me. Yeah. Oh, here we go. The camera's moving. 100%, Erin. She doesn't take crap, but she also doesn't bite back because she's not ratchet. Do you know what I mean? It's not like she's just like, it's almost like she would humor them. Yeah, it's interesting. Tim, which brings my thoughts, the setup started at the waterfall because Higgins was mad that Karen was ignoring him, but the ones who know will never tell the truth. No, they won't tell the truth. It'll be interesting to see if they ever are forced to acknowledge the truth, though. Hopefully. That's all we can kind of hope for, right? I'm drinking coffee at 2 a.m. It's absolutely absurd. We must. Lucky. Just such an adorable soul. So proud of him. Just like everything, he was just everything. Just so, yeah, I can't think of the word. I think even Mark Betterow said almost in the nicest way possible, almost simple. It's so simple that lying or being deceitful in any fashion in his daily life would be just never. He would just never. He straight down the line. It's black and white. The sky is blue. The sun is hot. Do you know what I mean? Just that, yeah, genuine, matter of fact, very like black and white. There is no grey. There was a car there. There was nobody on the front lawn. Yeah, the way he talked, but almost there's some neurodivergence. Again, not that I would know, I'm not, but I do have a child that is, who's now an adult, but it's not in their makeup, well, my son's at least, to lie. You can't, it's like, yeah. And I loved it. When Lally tried to get him with the tail lights between an Edge and a Jeep Cherokee, I was like, holy shit, when he replied. I was like, oh my goodness, you are a legend. And that, yeah, is neuro spicy, 100%. I was like, I love you, Lucky. Like, it's like he just knew. It was almost, I remember kind of having like an out of body experience for a second. I'm like, well, that was obviously prepped. And then I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like, he's not Lally's witness, he's ours. So, yeah, that was super cool. Super cool. Like, had Jackson ever asked him that? Who actually crossed him? Yannetti? Yannetti crossed him, didn't he? Direct. Anyway, whatever. Had defense had asked him that, you would take it with a grain of salt, because it could so easily been prepped. But when Lally did, I was like, yes, so good. I wonder if the jury have a question or if they have a verdict. Do we know that for sure either? So keen for a verdict right now. Hey, Michael, how are you? Good to see you. I was very surprised that Jackson didn't question Higgins about the obvious provocation at the end of the Waterfall video. Yeah. Same. Well, the camera's wobbling again, which usually means we're going to pan down. Me too, Michael. I don't know why. Really interesting, isn't it? So, but you know what? I know that he will be asked as soon as the verdicts, if this is all over and done with, and he speaks to anybody kind of more openly and freely, I'm sure that he will be asked over and over again, why didn't you? And the only reason I've sort of read is that they weren't allowed to, ironically, they weren't allowed to zoom in and slow-mo, kind of like I just did. Although they did it with the driveway video of Karen reversing into John's traverse. But yeah, they probably wouldn't have been allowed to have done it. I'm sure it would have been objected. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're investigating the case that is Karen Reid, or I should say the case that is the murder of John O'Keefe directly. But I don't think that they're not either. Yeah, for sure they would. They do. They would have whatever's in evidence, which is that video. And so hopefully they remembered Jackson asking them to have a look at it at the 11:57 mark. Hopefully they remembered that. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you giving me the updates. I wonder what their question is. Ooh, I'm excited. I so wish I could go in there and knock on the door and be like, hey guys, did you want any help? Is there anything that I can assist with? I'd pay $1 million if I had $1 million to be like, can I just go in and see if they're okay? Is there anything that I can help you guys with? Any questions? Yeah, I mean, there's so much. And you think about how long you have been following the case and scouring through the evidence compared to them, they weren't even allowed to talk about it throughout the whole trial. Like, I would literally have gone insane. Yeah. So like on Tuesday they were able to talk about it. They would have just gone into the deliberation rooms and been like, vomit, blah, 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 blah. They just would have been dying to get all this like WTFs off their chest and like, what the shit, as Sean would say, what the Christ, this is a bunch of bullshit. But so like it's huge. It's so much to consider, considering they have not been like us for like months. Even the people that have followed the trial only and weren't following it prior, it's still how many weeks, 10 or 11 weeks or whatever, of being able to, and then being on, social media and being able to discuss and being on streams and being able to like chat with others, whereas the jury have not been able to do that or read the media or talk about it. So yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable that they're taking this long, but so I think it's almost a little bit, I didn't expect it to. I thought oh, we've got sound. Yay. Question. I'll be quiet.
You are unmuted.
Thank you. You see the closed session.
We're back on the record on 22-117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
Okay. All right. So, counsel, you're aware of our note from the jury. Dear Judge Cannone, I am writing to inform you on behalf of the jury that despite our exhaustive review of the evidence and our diligent consideration of all disputed evidence, we have been unable to reach a unanimous verdict signed by the foreperson. So I want to hear from counsel your view on whether there has been due and thorough deliberation. So let's start with the Commonwealth.
My answer would be no, Your Honor. This simply hasn't been sufficient time yet.
And what does the defense say?
We believe that there has been sufficient.
All right, so I'll hear from both of you in more detail. Mr. Lally, I will hear you.
Your Honor, the jury received this case earlier this week. They've had slightly shortened days, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that they haven't conducted their due diligence in regard to their deliberative process, but I would submit that it is far, far, far too early in their deliberative process to even consider giving them any kind of Tui Rodriguez instruction or anything close to that. Furthermore, what the note doesn't really indicate affirmatively that they can't come to a conclusion. It just says that they haven't come to a conclusion through their deliberative process at this time. They're not even asking for one, is what I would say.
All right, thank you. Mr. Yanetti, I'll hear you.
Your Honor, I would disagree with Mr. Lally's characterization of the note. The word exhaustive is the word I think that's operative here. They're communicating to the court that they've exhausted all manner of compromise, all manner of persuasion, and they're at an impasse. This is a case where the jury has the legal instructions. They've only really asked one question, which was to try to get a report that they were not allowed to get. And I think the message has been received that the evidence is closed. They won't get anything more. They've been working essentially nonstop over the last 3-4 days. We're approaching a weekend. They didn't come back with this at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. They're at 12 o'clock and they have nowhere to turn. So our position is the jury should be read the Tui Rodriguez model instruction and go from there.
Okay. All right, so you all know that it is within my discretion, I decide. So a case that has been, it's a long case. This is our 4th day of deliberations, but Tuesday was a short afternoon, maybe 2.5 hours. Wednesday, they left early because of an appointment. Yesterday was also shortened a little bit, and this note arrived with less than 3 hours of deliberations today. So the length of the trial, the length of the deliberations. I know the case we heard from 74 witnesses. There are 657 exhibits, very complex issues in this case. I'm not prepared to find that there have been due and thorough deliberations at this point. So I am going to send them back out. We'll bring them in and we'll do that now.
Yannetti's like, fuck's sake. I don't think this is a terrible thing at all. But I would like to know what the statistics are. Are they deadlocked? What are the numbers of not guilties versus guilties? Like, how far are they? That's what I would love to know. Man, poor Karen. I would just be, she got shivers. It just would be so frightening, like so frightening.
All right, to the court, please. Your attention.
I also kind of not sure if I agree with Yanetti. It's interesting. I'm keen to hear like an attorney's view on that, because yeah, I'm obviously no idea. Can't understand. Like, the longer they deliberate, the longer they might come to a guilty verdict. I don't know. Whereas Lally's like, no, keep going, keep
Back
going.
in session, you may be seated.
I don't get that.
Right. So, jurors, I'm in receipt of your note. I am writing to inform you on behalf of the jury that despite our exhaustive review of the evidence and our diligent consideration of all disputed evidence, we have been unable to reach a unanimous verdict signed by your foreperson. We all know how hard you've been working. Lunch will be arriving shortly. When it comes, I'd ask you to clear your heads, have lunch, and begin your deliberations again. Or continue your deliberations, all right? So I'm sending you back out.
All rise to the court, please. Jurors, follow me, please.
I have considered this, Tim, and it was based on the McAlberts
Thank you.
shown.
Be seated. Court is still in session.
All right, so the note has been marked for identification, and we'll see you all either at 3:30 or when you get a phone call.
Court, all rise.
Triple V for identification.
Triple V. Thank you.
Wow. There we go. Sorry, so yeah, Tim. Actually, I'll just go back to your comment. Yeah, you're not alone, and I think heaps of people thought that, but it's also one of those far out things that you just think, freaking hell, how corrupt can you get? How could they have? How? He's only Brian Albert, like, for frig's sake. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's interesting. I would love to know what the details are. Is it half of us think are stuck on guilty and half of us are stuck on not guilty, there's a problem. Or is it, you know, a couple that are, I just can't picture it. I just can't see more than a couple of nitwits in there thinking she's guilty. How? I just don't get it. And I've really tried to step out of my own head and my own and push my own biases aside. And this is why I think with Yanetti, I can't wait to hear the kind of method behind his argument that no, he feels like that there has been plenty of time. There has been enough time. Yeah, I don't get that. I'm excited to hear, you know, like Melanie's or Mark Bettero's views on that, actually, as to what he'd be thinking. Yeah, wow. Just wow. 100%, like fucking wow. Oh my God. Yeah, neither do I. That's what I mean. It's like my own mind, actually, that's like, no, that can't be the case. But all of us have thought it, right? Some of us have said it out loud. We've thought it. Yeah. I think the only thing I wish that Jackson had hammered home in his closing was the two ARCA experts. You cannot argue with that science. If there wasn't a car accident, there's no case. If there wasn't an accident that involved John and the Lexus, if there wasn't an accident at 34 Fairview Road, there's no case. That on its own, isolated, is enough reasonable doubt to go, you know what? I don't know about the rest of it, but there was no accident. John didn't hit the car didn't hit John, couldn't happen. That is beyond reasonable doubt, like more than. I don't think so. No, I don't think they can do that. I think that either the other jurors try to overcome, if it is that one juror that's saying she's guilty and the rest are not guilty, then the rest of them can work with that juror, not to convince them or to force them to change their mind, of course, but to try and work with that particular issue. So why do you think she's guilty? Well, I think she's guilty because of the awful voicemail she left John, or I think she's guilty because of what happened in Aruba. I mean, Christ knows what these people actually think. Or I think she's guilty because of the tail light, or I think she's guilty because X, Y, Z. Then the other jurors can go, okay, well, this is why we don't believe that evidence proves beyond a reasonable doubt that she did it. And then, you know, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think a judge can dismiss them. So then it would, and if that one juror, for example, if it's one, is just, nah, not going to happen. She's guilty. I'm not changing my mind. This is what I think. Then that's, it's hung. Or it's, hung jury. Although, that's a good point because, I don't know what happens if it's 11-1. I don't know. Yeah, and I think a lot of people did. I can't even remember what I went in thinking because I discovered the Karen Reid case via Turtle Boy. And I started in December, and I think I saw Turtle Boy arguing with Wendy Murphy on STS or something like that. And I thought, oh, this guy's kind of hilarious. And what's going on here? And that's when I went to his channel, and I didn't even realize until halfway through binging all of his Canton cover-up playlists that he was in jail at the time. I remember being so invested by the time I got to realize, you know, all these videos and hours in that he was actually in jail. And I was like, oh my God. So I can't remember, but I remember watching all of it kind of from way back up to catch up to speed. Technology proves Karen was at John's house at the time they said, I know. It's just bullshit. It really is. Hey, Roxy. How are you? I guess when Tim and like we were talking before about there being plant, I was worried about more so, I think, about the McAlberts wandering around. What if, and this is so, like, it makes us think all these things that sound so crazy in tinfoil hat conspiracy theories, but it's like, what if they were waiting around for the jurors to leave so they could follow the bus, because they all come in on a bus and they meet somewhere else. And then they followed the bus and then followed the jurors after they got off the bus and started driving home. Like, this is the things that we think. Reasonable doubt, like he never saw Officer John O'Keefe on the lawn. Hey Liz, how are you? They say that someone isn't deliberating, they can complain, and jurors have been replaced in. Thank you. So I apologise, Tim, I was wrong. I didn't know that had happened before, so thank you. Thanks heaps, Liz, for clarifying. If they're not being cooperative at all. Okay, fair. ARCA guys say the science show there's no way John was hit by the car, and that there was no way that the car hit John, like 100%. Michael, the state and the case are playing a very dangerous game, especially when throwing shade on stuff like yes. Imagine how many sit on death row right now because of Celebrite, because of Apple Health data, because of phone records. It's just crazy because of physics and science. Right, they have to be not participating. So it would be like, yeah, not just saying, no, I'm just a hard guilty and I'm not going to change my mind because that's what I fully believe, but actually being, yeah, uncooperative. It makes sense, yeah. Oh, yeah. Makes me want to vomit. And you know what, Tim, I will just say, if she is found guilty, and I know I hate the way it sounds, but it's like if she's found guilty, I kind of have to sway that it's corruption. Because nobody, 12, no, you just can't find her guilty in any other situation. Good night, Erin. Yeah, I'm going to go soon too. I might hang out until, what's the time? It's nearly lunchtime there, I think. But then I'll try and get some shut-eye. Not that I think I will after that, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for coming and chatting. It was great to have you. And yeah, we'll see you soon. I hope you can manage to sleep. Bye, love. Okay. All right. I'm going to have a look, see what's going on over in the land of X. And I feel so bad for Karen. Far out. I just can't imagine what it would be like. Seriously. People are so funny. They take everything, so doesn't matter. Oh, Adam's live. If you guys want to go and have a look. I would like to know the split on the jurors' votes at this point. Yeah, I'd love to. That is like the $1 million question for me. How deadlocked are they? How unanimous are they? I think Jackson could have pointed out that other independent witnesses never saw John on the lawn. 100, yes. Yeah, Tristan didn't see him. Nobody saw him when they were leaving. Jan McCabe, Matt McCabe. Aside from Julie Nagel's black blob. Higgins leaving, apparently. It's just not, it's not realistic. It didn't happen. I know. If you do, let's hope it's a not guilty. And yeah, I don't know. I couldn't go to sleep. So good luck, Erin. Liz, I really don't understand how they're hung. They collected evidence in solo cups. Just that. That's what I mean. The solo cups thing has almost become like a distant memory. But it's so bloody important. It's so ridiculous and incompetent and all of the things, right? All of the things. With everything else. It's like, yeah, the solo cups and the stop and shop and the inverted video and all of it. Oh dear. All right. Well, I think I've been on for an hour and it is 2:30 a.m. Although I'm not going to sleep, I am going to go and wash my face and hop into bed. It's winter here, and although I live in a tropical region, I just want to go and hop into bed, to be honest. But it was so good. I kind of got that out of my system. I wanted to say hello, and it was great that, you know, you guys came to say hello and we got to watch that together. I will aim to, unless of course in the next half an hour we have something exciting happen, and then I'll probably come back on just to celebrate. And otherwise, yeah, I'll do a live tomorrow, so that, because all the streamers have been going hard, right, doing day in, day out of the coverage, and so they might have a break when court's out. So I might jump in and do a live while they're kind of having a breather with no court. Seems the jurors who are holding out see nothing sus about the butt dials, Google searches, and how anyone can look at John's. Yeah, like that's the thing. It just, there's more and more and more. There's all the things, Michael. I get it. There's all the things. It's too much. Let's just hope that it's legitimate in there. And how the hell will we ever know if it is? It's incredibly worrying. All right. Yes, you too, Tim. I'll see. I'm going to head over and I'll hop into bed and turn Dylan and Sean on anyway. So I'll see you over there in the chat, I would suggest. And yeah, thanks everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.